What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today, I'm here to bring all of you the weekly manga chapter review of Boku no Hero Academia. So, we continue the misadventures of our students, venturing the room to room to figure out who has the best room. Sadly, at the end of the day, we don't really find out, Suyu's room or Bakugo's room. We don't get to find out how their rooms look. But, however, there is a couple of rooms I have to say was the best room. If I had to say my personal opinion of who had the best room overall in these, chapters, it was definitely, I think, Tokoyami and then also Jiro. I love those two rooms just the way they were. Jiro, it's to be expected. Her personality seemed like she might be some form of rock and roll type girl, but seeing her room, it just, lets us really know that she is that type of character, and it really makes me appreciate this arc. As I've kind of briefly stated in the last chapter, this type of arc makes a lot of sense. It's a briefer arc, but also it adds characterization and development and allows us to understand these characters besides just our main cast. For instance, Izuku, Todoroki, and also Bakugo. We get to see these other characters get some characterization, which we kind of already have an understanding how they work or how some of them are, but now seeing these rooms, we know how they are in everyday life when they get up in the morning to do school or go to work or whatever they want to do. We now know what type of room they really appreciate or what they like, and seeing that type of stuff, it makes you really get to understand these characters a whole lot more. For instance, Momo's room. It's already kind of been implied that she's a little bit of a rich girl, but now seeing the room, how we got to see it, it was amazing. Seeing how this big bed was just gigantic. She barely had room to walk to her damn desk because there was like that much space. Like, I would have to go fucking sideways to get into that room. So just seeing these different things about the rooms lets us see how these characters are in their natural environment. When they're not fighting, when they're not studying, when they're not with their friends, when they're just chilling in the room, probably watching TV, maybe playing some games, or whatever they like to do in their spare time, we get to see how they were when they're not on screen. And it just adds some very good characterization. And I feel like that's a really good way to kind of make this arc have so much more meaning, because it makes me appreciate the writing of Boku no Hero Academia when we have side characters getting a lot of focus and having them get this development and characterization. And Boku no Hero Academia has done this since the beginning of the series. This isn't the first time it has actually done this. It's done it many times in the past, and I have discussed it many times in the past, because it just always makes me appreciate this series so much more when I see characters actually getting the spotlight. Other characters besides Izuku. Now, Izuku, obviously, he needs the spotlight, but I'm glad other characters get that. And, like, Jiro's room in this episode, well, that's a habit, please forgive me. In this chapter, Jiro's rock and roll room. It's so cool. I like the room, I love the design of it, and just seeing that with her character, it complements her character. Or someone like Sato, that, as a guy that, has a sugar type quirk, and how he made, like, sugar and sweets for the, the girls, that was a funny scene in the chapter, but it also, once again, goes along with his character and adds this characterization, this layer that we did not know about. And then we have these other scenes, like, last chapter with the little bunny, the rabbit, very cute. And then, Tokoyami in his 8th grade syndrome room. And, Minato, we know he probably has a very perverted room, so I'm just not even going to get into that one. So, overall, I just feel like this chapter was an amazing chapter. It was. It was my exact same thought as last week's chapter. It got us to see other characters and their designs, or, their characterization alongside of, character development. Now, other things, too, going on here is that we have a setup for getting their hero license. All our characters now are going to be taking, like, an exam to be able to get the hero license. Apparently, only 5% of people pass this test. It's that hard to get a hero's license. And so now it's going to be, like, studying and stuff to try to get their license before they can actually do hero activities outside of school. So I can't wait to see how exactly this is going to go and how it's going to kind of be different from the normal tournament-type arcs or exams. Because if we think about it, we've already had a tournament arc. We have. We had a tournament arc a while back. And so I don't feel like the writer of Boku no Hero Academia will do the exact same thing. I just highly doubt that. The writing of the series has been very unique so far, very different, and each arc honestly stands on its own as a very good piece of the series. Think about it, every single arc of Boku no Hero Academia could stand on its own and have its own different meaning. Look at this. You have the Stain arc that was built up since the beginning, slowly built up. You have the first introduction of the villains, when we had it to our characters first seeing villains for the first time. We get to see All Might versus One for All. And then we also have, you know, the arc where they were in the forest training. We also have this arc, you know, with this little breather arc. I mean, there's little arcs we have here and there throughout the entire series, and they're very different. None of them are really the exact same, and so I don't think we're going to have maybe a tournament arc like we're all expecting. There might be something else here. There might be something when it actually comes to a practical exam. What if it's actually just a written test? I mean, who knows? It might be a possibility. So I am pretty damn excited to see where it's going to go. I'm excited for next week's chapter, and it was just a damn good chapter of Boku no Hero Academia. Now, not everybody's probably going to like this chapter. I highly doubt everyone will love it, because not everybody likes, you know, slow-paced chapters like this, likes chapters that are just slice of life-ish. I know not everybody likes that. It's just the cold hard truth. Not everybody will, but I appreciate this. Oh yes, and one last thing. The best thing I want to say for last is that Tsuyu character development. We may not have seen her room in this chapter of Boku no Hero Academia, but at the very least, we got some very good development with her, of how she felt guilty about what happened, and also how she finally actually showed, like, a sad side to her, the way she had tears. That was a very sad face. I mean, that was a very sad but adorable face. I know it was, you know, supposed to be sad, but it was just adorable seeing her in, like, a different type of design compared to what we're used to. So, yeah, I do like how we got development with Tsuyu and how she felt bad, guilty, and all that, and she wished she could have done more, and that's why she used this entire interaction with, you know, looking at each individual room as a way to kind of bring everybody together and all that. So it was really good development for Tsuyu as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.